Guys, good Tuesday morning. Welcome to Real Talk. This is an insider's guide to real estate life and the pursuit of happiness. We are live on the I Love CVille Network across Charlottesville, the Commonwealth, the country, and the world. Greg Slater joins us in a matter of moments. Judah Wickhauer, our director. Keith Smith, the executive producer. Busy week for the three of us here. Busy week for Greg. Busy week for the Land Trust, for Susan Steinmart. The telethon, my friend, right around the corner.
Yeah, like 2 days, right? What's today? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 2 days. Let's go figured it out. That's this many.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. 3 days.
Well, Friday's today.
It's 72 hours away.
Got it.
Yeah.
You're counting today is what you're doing.
I mean, you go 24, 48, 70.
That works? That works? You don't count today. Today's half over.
Are you excited?
I'm excited. I just, before we went live, I was like, man, we're going to have to sit in these chairs for over 12 hours.
That's right. How you feel about that? When's the last time you sat in one place for 12 hours?
Never.
Yeah, me either. I was the kid in school, and I'll throw this to Greg Slater. Greg will start with this. Greg is on the line. I was the kid. I have a feeling you were the same way. I'm curious of what kind of kid Greg was in school here. Greg, I was the kid that couldn't sit down, man. I was in the back row, couldn't sit down, constantly fidgeting, always thinking about sports or looking at a pretty girl, never focused. What kind of kid were you, Greg Slater, in school? And welcome to the show.
Hey, welcome, Greg.
Hey, thanks for having me. I think I'm still that kid. I find myself on the phone. I get out of my chair and I'm bouncing off. Do you ever see The Big Short and the guy who jammed the heavy metal to try? I feel like my brain needs that heavy metal stimulation all the time. It just wants more stimulation.
That's the Christian Bale character from The Big Short. I think it was Michael Berry. And
That's
how
right.
he was trying to calm down was playing Metallica. He predicted the housing market crash. That was a hell of a movie, Greg.
It was. But when I saw that, it made me, I'm like, I can relate to wanting that while I'm trying to think.
The dude's looking sharp. He's got his master's 3/4 zip. I mean, I gotta give him props on the 3/4 zip. Look at that, Keith Smith.
Gotta lean it down a little bit. I'm looking at my.
How's that right there? Just ask him a question.
I gotta ask him a question. Greg, how you doing, man?
I'm doing really good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing? I'm doing good. I was up in Connecticut with our granddaughter, and I was standing in front of the Italian deli, and the guy in the classic tracksuit looks up, waiting to go in the door, looks over to me, goes, "How you doing?" I go, "Man, if I was doing any better, it'd be illegal." And he says, "Man, that's the best effing answer I ever heard." So, look, today is about new construction a little bit. We want to kick it off, and then we're going to talk a little bit about what we got coming up here with the Land Trust on the back end of it. I kind of want to kick it off because you're really an expert in this field. I get asked by clients all the time, and we're starting to see new construction trying to ramp up a little bit. Tell me why, or what, from your perspective, why you need to have a real estate agent or a real estate professional in a new construction transaction. Talk about that for a minute.
Okay. I usually start by just the simple concept of if you don't know what you don't know. Even if you have some experience in resale transactions, the new construction process is very different. So I think you also have to remember when you're working with a builder, they are trying to sell you something, right? But when you have an agent working for you, they are trying to give you advice and help you make good decisions. If you found one that approaches their business model that way, your agent shouldn't be trying to sell you on anything. Look, it starts at the beginning. We have different builders, different builder models, you may be buying a home and lot package. You may be buying land and then finding a builder to improve that land. And just the transaction itself can be different, and having a realtor who can help you figure out those elements is important. But, having a realtor that understands, especially in a market like this where we have builders that are both publicly traded companies managed outside of this area, maybe even owned by a foreign entity, all the way to what we used to call at Lake Monticello, the pickup truck builder,
Sure.
Right? Checkbook builder who builds one home at a time, and everything in between. So understanding the different models that are available to you and how they can service you, because a lot of guys can put the parts together, but it's that experience in between that can make the difference. I've seen way too many very nice homes delivered, but unhappy homeowners because of the experience they had in the process. A lot of people don't think about having new homes inspected at various phases of the process. That's not just getting that advice, but knowing who to hire and when to inspect and how to help work with that builder, because sometimes you're threading the needle to get that home inspected at just the right time. I often say building a new home is thousands of man-made and natural parts put together by hundreds of people. There are going to be problems, and there are going to be things to work through together. And having an advocate that's giving you advice. I also coach my people that are building to think about that relationship with their project manager. Yeah. You never want any of this to be adversarial. Matter of fact, you want to be that guy's best friend, because he's getting pulled in a lot of directions by a lot of people, sometimes unhappy, sometimes happy. But these are real people just trying to do their job. So you can't be playing the gotcha game with them, looking for mistakes. You need to let these guys do their work, correct it themselves, and then present it to you before you cast judgment on the final product. Look, Realtors can help you have confidence in all the decisions you have to make along the way.
You hit pretty much all the high spots. We have a couple of slides that, as you were talking, that's rotating a little bit through, which you can't see because it's on the Facebook feed. But one thing that came to mind in talking, the contracts are very different, right?
There you go. Yes,
right.
Very good. Sure.
And then, so the contract between a resale and the contract between a new construction in itself is different. And then within the new construction world, there's different contracts, right? Then you have like a custom.
Each builder has their own contract.
That's exactly right. So that's why you need a trusted advisor, somebody that can help you navigate through that. And Greg's point is right. At the end of the day, most builders, and it used not be the case, as you noted back in the pickup truck days, most builders in their price have included commissions, right? And so at the end of the day, if you don't use a realtor, in essence, you're paying for it anyway. You're paying for that service, so you should use somebody to help you, guide you through this process. Yona and I are doing quite a few new constructions that have been wrapping up the last couple of years. Very different negotiation set of skills that you need, right? Very different than an existing home. So talk a little bit about how that process works, because some builders prices, the price per square foot or something like that is not negotiable, but you could negotiate other things. Would you talk about that for a minute?
Sure. And you have to kind of take your cues from getting to, I always help my clients understand what type of market we're in, right? I kind of look at what the builder sold recently. Are they ahead of their sales plan? Are they behind their sales plan? Because their negotiability is going to ebb and flow. I can talk to you about a couple of communities right now where there's actually no room to, we're in a period where negotiability is very low for new construction. But, just recently, 2 years ago, there was room to negotiate. But, if the home's under construction, that's one thing. If it's sitting there finished, that's another angle to use in the negotiation. The builder wants to get that home off their books as soon as possible. But generally speaking, the builders are worried about comps in their own neighborhoods. If you're building in a place where they have an investment in future lots, they're going to be very careful about how they negotiate because they don't want to undercut their market. But sometimes you're better off getting things that are going to improve the house that aren't a discount on upgrades, for example, or maybe some help with closing costs, so that other than a straight discount on the price, sometimes a better strategy than.
So the home inspector idea is a great idea, but what I kind of wanted to set the stage a little bit so we can talk about what you do so well. You put out this regular report about actual contracts, and I know we want to talk a little bit about that, and then into the land trust, as everybody may know or may not know, you're the vice chair on that. That being said, are you starting to see more builders coming into the marketplace? Do you start to see that picking up a little bit? Well,
we've had Greenwood Homes enter the marketplace that I think will be a disruptor because of the resources behind them and their retread of they're not new, they're just coming back.
Sure. Same
people, different brand. Other than that, for years the big builders have looked at us, but I don't think there's enough going on here for a Ryan-like builder to come into this market at this point. I don't think we have the absorption to make it worth their time. There's not enough lot inventory for sure. what the conversation I'm having among my peers and right now is, we're going through something on a macro level that I think we're going to be studying for a long time. That we're going to be dealing with for a long time, trying to figure out when it's going to be over. And that's the expression that's being used now is crisis, an inventory crisis. And that obviously sets the table for new construction sales. The only headwinds for new construction right now are the cost of materials going up, the lot inventory, as you discussed. We're starting to see a forecast for material shortages beyond the ones we experienced in 2020. OSB, another lumber type material, they think may actually slow down production of these homes as it gets harder to get to the job sites. And of course, for years, we all know we've been talking about a lack of labor in the new construction markets. So, if you're considering new construction, you just really have to get out there and start to understand what your budget is and what's available to you within that budget. And if you're putting it in that context of the long-term decision, new construction can really be rewarding for those that it's a good fit for.
So what are you seeing in your little crystal ball, right? You track the contracts pretty closely, right? You've created a system that is like on steroids to our MLS system, right? So you actually track by speaking. I believe it's the top 4, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I started, 5 or 6 years ago. I track what the top 4 builders are doing on a contractual basis monthly. I'm looking for the leading edge of the market, the leading edge of demand. Following the solds and after things have closed or took 6 or 8 months to build, they're usually just confirming what we already knew. For example, right now, the additional thing I've been doing is trying to understand what's happened since the pandemic started. We ended the year catching up on contracts in Albemarle County, but we were still about 185 listings off for the year, about 10%. So when you look at January, I started doing that same research again. This past January, contracts were up significantly, and we were about 10% off in Albemarle County on listings. That's only actually 14 listings at that point. It's not much, but if you look at that car market report, you'll see we started the year at 50% of the inventory levels as compared to the last 4 or 5 years on average. That's significant. We were 50% down. We're short in January. But then the stat that really blew my mind this month, I think we are all feeling it as realtors in these multiple offer situations. There's just so much demand. Last January, of all the listings, the resale listings that hit in January, 35% of them absorbed in the month of January with an average days on market of 7.
Yep.
Average days 7. This month, this past January, 74% of those listings absorbed with an average days on market of 5. So every trend is still pointing to demand is growing, supply is shrinking, and it's going to be a difficult year to manage what's going on, and it'll be impacted a lot by how we price this resale inventory as it comes to the market.
Are passionate about, and we do a ton of our volunteer time is affordable housing, right? This just pressures that even worse. This puts more pressure on that, and you can probably tell me, what's the median sales price of a new construction these days?
Well, if we put attached and detached together, it's probably in the 300.
Yeah.
If we take out detached, it's over 500.
Yeah. So you're talking about detached new construction is 500 and north of that. Attached is half that, you think? 350?
It's in the threes. I'll tell you, the hottest segment of the market right now in new construction is townhomes under 350.
Yeah.
There were 25 townhome sales in January, new construction, which is double the rate of the prior year, and 22 of them happened in 2 communities, Spring Hill and Pleasant Green. I mean, it's just remarkable how many townhomes were sold in 1 month.
We have a couple of clients in Spring Hill, and their townhome numbers are higher than what you just quoted. So that's a median.
That's right. They can't get them to the MLS. They're selling so many homes.
That's exactly.
Why do you think that is? Is that a price point situation?
Absolutely. I think that 350 has become a serious price point because just across the street, like in Crozet, I can show you the stuff that's 350 to 400, or even you may have to pull a little north of that 350 mark. And once you get closer to 400, it's a much different pace of play for sure.
So this is a great pivot into the land trust,
Yeah.
right? And what we're trying to do here, Greg. But so as we know, the land trust is working together with projects at Spring Hill to bring homes on the market $100,000 or more, considerably more than $100,000 more than what the median sales price is over there. So that's great stuff. Getting ready to hit the market here somewhere around April. Fingers crossed. But we're looking at potentially if we can raise enough money at this land trust telethon, right? We're looking. Your and my personal goal is to try to get these Nassau homes that we built at 200 or below 200. We know we can do it at 215. So if we raise more money, we can drive that sales price down. But the reality of it is, with $350,000 townhomes in Albemarle County, and we can create a 1,500 3-bedroom,
in the
2.5 bath, and a net zero on top of it.
Right.
It's
Within walking distance of everything.
Within walking distance of everything. It's just a home run. So, I think that's a good segue into what we're trying to do there. You explain what we do with the land trust far better than I ever could. And so I'm just going to step back for a minute and let you talk a little bit about it. But I wanted to use what the going rate is for new construction in the region for an attached product of 350 or more, and what we're trying to do on Nassau Street, on 10th and West. Or did I just put you on the spot?
No, it's good. We'll talk about it. I watched Paola Christie's interview the other day. Look, wow. I'm the person that helped her buy that home.
Yep.
And it was one of the top 5 hardest it made Nassau Street seem reasonable because it was probably a 6 or 8 month transaction. Wow. To get through it based on all the moving parts there. It's very difficult. But to hear her tell her story now as honestly and emotionally as she did reminded me why I do this and what problem we're trying to solve. And that problem is we have a workforce in this community that makes median income, below median income, above median income. But, if you believe the fundamental principle that to have a healthy community, that the person, that job that makes the median area income ought to be able to afford the median area price, it's important to have people living in the communities that they serve. And unfortunately, the housing market here doesn't allow that to happen. So as I was introduced to this affordable housing thing and eventually introduced into this land trust model, it quickly showed me it was a solution that solved a lot of that problem in the right way. And, when we think about those people we helped at Nassau Street, they ended up owning homes for less than it cost them to rent them,
yep.
less than it cost to heat and cool them.
Yep.
And, it's about, and look, down payment assistance is involved, yep. Helping with closing costs is involved, having Fulton Mortgage create a product that makes our business model fly here. But, one of the terms I often use, it's about helping that person who otherwise really wants to live here and really wants to achieve home ownership, break the rental rut. Because when you're spending more on your housing than you should be just to rent, sure. It's hard to break that cycle. It really is. And it reminds me, and I don't know, maybe you guys can get Alex Amarin on your show. She was actually the homeowner before yep. Paola Christie, and we used to have a video with her, and she's the one who taught me the most about our model because she, people get hung up on the appreciation sharing and all these things. She said, Greg, appreciation doesn't matter to me. Monthly cash flow matters to me. And renting, I can't afford to save for the future. I can't afford to invest for my retirement. And I really don't want to be subject to a landlord who's not going to give me the stability of being a part of the community and staying in that home. I'm always worried that if I'm going to be able to renew that lease and stay. And so she was literally about to move out of Charlottesville because she couldn't afford to live here. I'm not sure what she's doing now. At the time, she was a social worker, and she chose to put her degrees to work in helping the community. And when she found when she heard that we had a community land trust, we were able to help her get into a home and just talk about what those monthly savings meant to her.
So
it's really special.
And well said, Greg. That was great.
It's great, and I wanted to add a little bit to that from a personal experience. So when we did Nassau Street, so everybody knows, Greg and I kind of split up the roles. I was doing what my hat does well, which was develop and get that stuff, and Greg was really focusing on taking care of the client. And I didn't really meet the clients until the end of the project, right? Until everything was done, because I was busy fighting the city and going vertical and doing all this fun stuff. And I won't use names because it's inappropriate, but we have a refugee family. How many?
We interviewed them.
It's like five. No, I don't think you did.
Okay.
I believe they have 5 folks in the house, if I remember correctly, right?
They're 3 kids, 2 adults. That's right, and the parents don't speak English. Their teenage daughter speaks English. Yeah.
So when it was closed and over with, I went over to say hello, and they were in tears and hugging me and saying thank you.
That's awesome.
Well, they might have been saying.
Let me tell you a good story about that. Aaron Garcia was the realtor who worked with them, and went through that transaction. And I just did a Zoom call with her yesterday where she wanted to tell that story. And she said one of the things that amazed her client the most was she couldn't believe there was a washer and dryer in the home.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And she shared that story as the only real estate walkthrough and closing that she actually had ever cried at herself.
Oh, that is awesome.
So that's the magic that we're trying to work here, guys. This is the magic. And, everybody may not understand it or have some issues with maybe, and I'll just kind of put that aside. But the reality of it, the reason why this man puts in hundreds of thousands of hours of time, I know I do, into that, is to hear a story like that.
Sure.
To get a hug, this was pre-COVID, obviously, from a family, from a woman who was handing me homemade, I don't want to offend because I didn't know what it was, but I ate it.
Delicious desserts.
It was delicious something, and I ate it, and ate it. Where were they from, Greg?
Burma.
Burmese.
They were Burmese.
Burmese. And these were refugees that left, an awful situation, and we were able to get them in this home for at or below what their current rent is. Oh, by the way, no electric bill. And I'd love you to talk a little bit about that. I don't know if these people are able to capitalize it, but they also capitalize on a tax incentive from having solar on their house, which nobody's talking about that. But you might want to talk a little bit about that, Greg.
Well, look, this model is designed to help people who otherwise have reached a point in their life they think home ownership would be of value to them on a long-term basis. It's about home, not house.
That's exactly right.
That otherwise live in a community where they can't achieve it. And so I think it's important because we just know there's so many benefits from home ownership in your lifetime, whether it's the subjective, emotional benefits from it, or if it's the wealth building. When I teach the class to these prospects who are interested in learning about it, I take them through the fact that, when we sold at Nassau Street, that was a 3% down loan, so they were borrowing $209,000 at 4.25% interest. Then the interest rates are even lower now.
Yep.
But if you own a home for 10 years and make that $1,231 payment, you've created $42,000 in equity just by making that payment in 10 years.
Plus the savings on the monthly. There's
multiple income streams. Now imagine, like some of these owners, they achieved $15,000 in down payment assistance that will be forgiven in year 10. So now you add that in there. If you're saving $100 a month on electric, that's $1,200 a year times 10 years. So it's about
who would have only been paying somebody else's mortgage as a renter.
Right. That's exactly right, and it's teaching people how to use home ownership to make their lives more comfortable, but at the same time build wealth.
That's awesome.
Without relying on market rate appreciation or what happens in the resale process or any of those things.
So I know you've got to jump off here in about another 5 or 10 minutes, right?
Are you going to ask him his 2021 prediction?
I am.
Crystal ball? But
before I do that, let's go real quick through the. And I got Judas some slides. He'll buzz through that. And I gave you before our meeting, our pre-production meeting. Let's just talk a little bit about the process, right? What's going to happen once these things hit the market, how this process is going to work. Because it's very important that we talk about our sales funnel. So
Sure.
So could you talk a little bit about the sales funnel on this?
Absolutely. So when we turn this on, we will create an opportunity for people to register, and we're going to and we're going to do that online, so we have a date and time stamp, and it's based on that demand. We're going to set up opportunities. Step one, after you register, is to be invited into about a 1-hour session. The last time around, I taught it. Whether or not I'm that person this time will be determined, but we want you to fully understand both the CLT model. We have a manual with coursework. It's the ABCs of borrowing money, owning a home, who's responsible for what in the process, what happens when you go to sell it. Everything we think you should know before you become a CLT owner, as well as introducing you to the actual home itself, right? These are new construction, so you still need to know if that home's going to work for your family. And from there, there's the next important step is then on the actual prospective purchaser. We have two partners. We have the Piedmont Housing, and we have Fulton Mortgage. And so Piedmont Housing's role is for that person to fill out what we call an intake form, and it's about the same as a mortgage application. It's a deep dive into your financial history and record keeping, because the first thing they're going to do is verify your income that counts towards whether or not you qualify to become one of these purchasers from two perspectives. You can't make too much, but in reality, you have to make enough too. So, we're really in a range that tends to end up being that 60 to 80% of median area income. But for every person, that's a little unique because everybody has different monthly bills or different things on their credit, and that's all evaluated. So PHA, the number one thing they're going to do is tell us that you don't make too much for the program. At the same time, that information is then going to be copied and shared with Fulton Mortgage, where they're going to figure out if you're credit worthy and what types of assistance you might need, how much cash you need. Whenever anybody goes to get a mortgage, sure, you're trying to make sure the payment is the right amount for your household budget, but your cash needed to close is just as important. So they're going to figure those things out.
Jump in for that, because that's a question that comes up regularly. The way we were able to do at Nassau Street the land trust was able to pay for their closing costs, right, for the purchaser's closing costs. So we rolled that into our cost of that. And plus, if I'm not mistaken, Greg, you handled it. Almost every one of them had some down payment assistance. Is that correct?
Almost everyone. So what it came down to, the ones that received down payment assistance had to have 1% in the game. Is what it came. So we had people who bought for $215,000 with $2,150 out of pocket. Period.
Got it.
Their closing costs and whatever they qualified for to drive down their monthly payment by paying down the price as down payment was.
Can we reiterate that? The man just said, I'm going to put this at the 6th grade level, that people bought a house in the city of Charlottesville with $2,150 down.
That's exactly right.
That's what he said. So the misconception of needing 20% down is a misconception. It's a myth, and that does not apply to this. But $2,150 down for buying this home, that's amazing. That is amazing.
And you get cried on and free food.
I mean, that is amazing.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I needed to interrupt you because that comes up quite a bit about what's the closing cost and down payment. So at the end of the day, it's about as close to zero out of your pocket as you can get.
Every one of these people that are interested in this has to step forward and has to do the hard work to figure out if this is a possibility for them, and then so we can go to work and help them further beyond what we can't advertise what we can do for everybody, because those resources are going to be figured out in real time as we go through the process. Because, I know people are interested. I'm super excited about both projects we've been talking about, but we generally cause more demand than we have opportunity.
Oh, heck yeah.
What happens is when I send these folks off to those two steps with PH and Fulton, that's where it's on them, right? Some people get that work done in 3 days. Some people look at that and put it on their desk and never touch it for 2 weeks. So as I get a seal of approval from PH and Fulton Mortgage, that's where you are in line for the next unit. And that's when we start the process of
So that's the
trying to-
funnel.
So
We-
it's
that's
first
the-
one in is what you guys are saying.
Well, that's the funnel we're talking about,
Yeah.
right? So that they have to participate in this and get through this, and frankly, whoever comes out to the bottom of that funnel first, then they get to pick a unit.
Gets first crack.
They get to pick a unit.
So that would mean if you get to pick a unit, the first crack person's probably picking an N unit. Are there going to be N units?
They're all in units.
Okay, so they're all a unit with one
So
other on one side and the other one's not?
Let's be clear about this. So the 10th and West are two duplexes, so they're
Okay.
two N units, and will be one single-family detached. The Stanley Martin project we're talking about over at Spring Hill is an internal unit. So
Is the
it's not
single family detached on 10th Street Northwest the same price point as
Yeah.
the duplexes?
Yeah, we're going to sell them all the same.
So first crack would be the single family
Whoever,
detached.
well, it's assuming they want it, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Conventional wisdom.
Yeah. Go ahead, Greg. We
Well, look,
interrupted you.
the point of we've got a process, and we want to be as fair as possible to everybody. But when it comes to doing the work, this becomes a team effort, and anybody who goes to get a mortgage has to do the work to get their financial history documented in a way that somebody feels comfortable with it to help them become mortgage worthy. And so,
But they're not.
We all work
but they're not
together.
alone, though, right? So
No, we're working together.
So
we
that's
put a team
important
together.
to know that,
Yeah.
that we just don't. We do you 1 hour and then we send you off someplace. We are engaged with that. If you have a realtor involved in you, which most of them did,
Yeah.
that realtor's job is to help you navigate that process. So this is not all, here's your paperwork and move on. I just don't want people.
When you go see Piedmont Housing, you're actually assigned to a professional housing
That's
counselor.
exactly right.
That's awesome.
You actually
This is what they do.
get
Yeah.
a counselor.
So we have a process. I look forward to starting it again. When we get to the Stanley Martin project, it'll be a little easier because people will be able to see, feel, and touch what's going on a little more than buying something that's just been drawn on paper and things like that. But
Well, just think about
they're all
that. On top of what Greg had to do, he also had to sell to somebody a vision because they weren't built at the time, right?
Oh no, they weren't built. I mean, you got to get them comfortable with the location, all the parts. If you have 4 different parties, you got 40 different questions from each party because everybody's kind of worried about something different. But it's a process. It's a labor of love, and
Well, we won't have that problem at Spring Hill because they're already up. So
The more I sit next to you and hear from you guys and Greg and Susan, I mean, I've been hearing about this for 2 years.
Yeah, I know.
You've been telling me about this. This is like there are other solutions. You've taught me that as well. There are other solutions, but this is a no-brainer solution.
we're not the silver bullet.
Yeah,
We're
this
just
is a
part of
no-brainer
we're
solution.
part of the solution.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
well, we don't have time to get into it today, but what it's really done is, I sold the first proffered affordable housing ever built under the policies in Albemarle County in 2007. The builder built it at cost. I sold them. We stripped all the soft costs out of it, and 5 or 6 people became homeowners. Within 5 years, 4 or 5 of those were sold, and all the sweat equity that went into those properties was gone, and that went into the pocket of those buyers. And what the CLT model does, it protects the investment that goes into creating those homes, but it also filters out the people who really aren't the right fit for the opportunity, right? Because if you have an income required and an income limit, if you catch somebody who just got out of college and they're right here, and within 3 years they would have never qualified anyway, we're working with people who are here.
So I know you got to go, and I appreciate everything you're doing
Yeah,
for
Greg,
us.
you're
here.
killing this.
But I want to ask you a question because I was asked it, and I'd like you to answer it for it. So you're a great example. I'm in this Nassau home. I'm in one of these 10th and West homes, and my income goes above 80%. What happens then?
It's your house.
That's exactly right.
It's your house for as long as you want it. So, but the difference is, so when we were doing this to the county's original proffered guidelines, it became something people realized was a huge opportunity. I can buy this artificially lower house, but it's 100% mine, and I can do whatever I want with it whenever I want with it. But when and the prime example, I had actually 2 people in one of my classes, a married couple, and they came to me after the class and they go, "This is an unbelievable opportunity for the right people." And you know what they said to me? "We're medical residents.
Oh, yeah.
This opportunity is not for us.
Yeah.
This is for people that don't have the upward mobility of income. But
it's important. It's important because I know a little bit about this because my son-in-law is a medical resident, and they make, and I can, because it's a nationwide thing. He makes $50,000 a year.
Right. So it might be for him, and he's in super debt, but he has earning potential.
But the point.
But here's why it wasn't for them. They filtered themselves.
That's exactly
I'm not
right.
saying you can't do it while you're in there. Because if you're mostly interested in home ownership for the long term, and the word appreciation is not even something you don't care what it's worth in 15 years because you're planning on still living there.
That's exactly right.
This model's for you. But if you're buying something, oftentimes people who buy their first home are planning on keeping it and turning it into a rental, or they have projections for what they're going to do in their future. The system or the program we've got actually kind of helps us find the right people for the opportunity.
I know your calendar. I know you've got a meeting to do in 5 minutes. So
I do.
I know you need to get there. So thank you. We're going to have a little extra chair over here.
Oh, he should come by.
On Friday for 12 hours. I like gin.
Greg, you should totally come by. I would love it if Greg came by.
Oh, I've got it on the back burner to see how you guys are doing. To see if I come in there and bail you out and give you a break. Get out of that chair.
Something about
Have
Virginia.
An ice cream, maybe
something about Virginia.
He's going to sell Crozet Creamery right here.
Crozet Creamery. There you go. Bring in some ice cream.
He's going to sell it. I love it.
I'm not bringing you liquor. You got to get through the 12 hours.
So I'm very proud of you. You didn't even go down Virginia stuff at all.
I've lived in Charlottesville a long time.
He's got a good. I'll give him some props. He's got a good basketball team.
Hey, go take care of a
He's
client.
got a good basketball team. Greg, let me say hi to Greg. Greg, thank you. You have a good one.
Hey, thank you guys. You guys are covering this so well. That interview with Paola.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we need to get out on the air, and I don't have a mechanism to do it. What you guys are doing for the land trust is super important.
Thank you. You have a good one.
Thank you.
Thanks, Greg.
All right, guys. See ya.
Love some Greg Slater on this show. He's good people. He explained it well.
He's great people, and you know it's as much as I love our little banter that we do and back and forth.
Yeah, I love watching y'all's dynamic. You and Greg.
Well, you know what our internal nickname is at the land trust is
for your who? What is it?
Oh, you don't know what? You
no,
never
I don't.
heard that? You know, like ours is Batman and Robin.
Yeah, what's you and Greg?
Bert and Ernie.
Oh, I can totally see that. He reminds me of my fraternity brothers. Like a dude I would like to belly up and to the watering hole and watch a game with. Good interview, Greg Slater. I'm excited, dude. Ray Cadell, welcome to the program. Ray Cadell, we can't wait to see you on Friday.
Yeah, totally.
He's going to be smoking meats.
So does he know what he's smoking?
He's going to be, Ray, what are you smoking
brisket,
on Friday?
I think
Is he smoking brisket? So Ray Cadell's going to be smoking brisket and playing his horn on the Charlottesville Affordable Housing Telethon here on Friday.
In a tux, hopefully.
What are you going to wear?
Are we
going to go casual?
You talked me out of wearing a tux. I can't get the powder blue tux, then you talked me out of it. So I think I'm
going like this.
Yeah, I think we'll do casual.
Me too.
Because it's going to be
long day. Yeah, a 9 a.m. arrival, and you mentioned already on your calendar you have it till midnight. I mentioned to my better half it's probably going to be midnight too. By the time we get home, that.
I put on my calendar 9 to midnight.
Yeah, I think that's fair. It's this Friday. We're going to need your help. We're trying to raise $150K for the Thomas Jefferson Community Land Trust so they can buy a piece of property on 10th Street Northwest. That $150K, if we can get 3,000 people to give $50 each, there's roughly 300,000 people in Central Virginia. So I'm talking maybe 1%. If 1% of the Central Virginia population can give $50 each, then we can crowdsource this property. We're going to try to do it on Friday. You can even donate now. If your business wants to donate now, it's a taxable donation. We would love if you donate.
If you haven't done your taxes yet, it's a great time to.
Great donation.
That'll actually be for 2021.
VMP Brain, I Love CVille will donate. We're going to do that live on air.
Thank you.
On Friday.
Thank you.
What are you thinking, man? What'd you think of the interview? What do you think of Friday?
Well, first of all, I love any opportunity to talk to. So he's Ernie, by the way. I'm Bert, in case you were wondering.
You think Bert's the cooler one?
Pert's maybe the better looking one.
Okay, all right, the better looking one. I like it.
But, every time I have a conversation with Greg, and hopefully he's not watching this any longer because he's gone to go do whatever he needs to do, take care of a client. I always feel a little smarter. I really do. And he and as I was starting earlier, I love this little banter you and I do. It's just a lot of fun.
It's fun.
And we forget about cameras and just having a great conversation. But when what was E.F. Hutton? When E.F. Hutton, what is it? E.F. Hutton speaks, you listen. This is a 1980s thing. But, you have to listen to the man. And he explains this far better than I ever can. I sometimes get wrapped up in the details a little bit too much.
You explain it well.
I think he does a better job.
I think what we do, what we've been doing a better job of is just explaining it on a very straightforward level. I mean, it needs to be.
Yeah, it needs to be. And it doesn't need to be complicated.
Right.
This is actually pretty...
How he explained it when it came to the various profit centers, where you have a profit center of the money you're saving each month. Sure. You have a profit center on the fact that you don't have a Dominion bill.
Sure.
You have a profit center when you get this equity down the road. You have a profit center when you have this down payment assistance where it's going to be cleared, or whatever the terminology is.
Sure.
Various profit centers.
Well, he also didn't talk about so when you go to sell it 10 years or 15 years from now, and it has to be sold to another 80% AMI, and you're buying it at $199, and let's say there's a different number, it'll be a little higher, I'm sure, 10 years from now. The delta between the two, you get to keep some of that. So this is an opportunity, somebody that's paying rent that can own and create what I call generational wealth, that they can go and do that. I'm just super excited about it. But the one question I wanted him to get out, he did, was, so if I'm in it now...
Was the appreciation question?
No. If I'm in it now, and I meet the criteria and...
Oh, your salary increases.
And my salary increases.
That came up on the feed.
Yeah, and that's the reason I wanted to ask him that question. So, and I knew the answer. The answer is it's your home. You're staying there. The only limitation to that is when you go to sell it, you got to sell it to another 80% AMI or below. And, look, I think everybody's skirting around this subject. You know what our area median income is for 2020?
Tell me.
It's $93,900. That's a huge number. The next highest one is like so this is the MSA. So this is at Charlottesville, Albemarle.
Next highest one's got to be... Are you saying, is it the highest in Virginia?
No.
Okay, Northern Virginia, right?
Yeah, it's 126.
It's something like a McLean, Arlington, Alexandria, somewhere there?
Correct. So it's multiple...
Potomac.
It's exactly right.
Yeah.
Multiple jurisdictions create what's called as MSA. So ours is Charlottesville, Albemarle, Greene, Nelson, and Flavanna. It does not include Louisa. Louisa's an outlier on that end of it. But, our goal, at least my personal goal, is if we can get way more than 150,000. I pray that we can. What we can do, because we already have the construction money to go vertical.
Yeah.
So if we can raise more cash, we can reduce our cost of constructions via cash, right? And we can get that number down, that sales number down. My goal, I mean, if we can get below 200, that would just make my day. That would make freaking my year if we can go ahead and do that. But that would put people like in the 60% AMI number. So like a family of four, that's like $56,000. That's 2020 numbers. 2021 numbers go out they come out in April every year. So we won't know. So this number may adjust, and nobody really knows what COVID's gonna do to that.
I don't think it's going to have much of an impact. Do you?
Well, I can tell you 19 versus 20, it went up by $4,300. I've never seen it go down. So, interesting stat though. I looked at Waynesboro and Stanton, what their area median income, because they're in a different MSA.
Can I guess?
Go ahead.
You said AMI area median income for this area was 90 and change?
93,900. Call it 9,400.
94,000 for Central Virginia, Charlottesville metropolitan area. Waynesboro metropolitan area AMI, I'll put it in the upper 60s.
Close, 71.4.
Okay.
That's $22,500 roughly dollars different. What do you think people are going to the other side of the mountain to buy houses? That's it right there.
I mean,
so
and throw in the fact that the advent or the rise of electric vehicles, and throw into the fact that you can now work from home, the money that you would be losing in the commute and the time you would lose in the commute is not as big of a deal anymore.
So that same 60% AMI on the other side of the mountain is $42,000 for four people, a four-person household. That's a huge difference.
It's a huge difference. Yeah.
But
So what does that tell you? If you're in the real estate game, the new construction game, I mean, it seems pretty clear what's happening here.
So I've been
It
struggling.
seems pretty clear what's happening to me.
So I've been struggling to put this together, and I've finally got some people going. And this is going to really be a March thing. Trying to get a couple of builders from the other side of the mountain, 4 or 5 realtors that I know that this is what they do over there. We sell some over there. We've sell and bought, help people sell and help people buy over there. But somebody who that's their backyard. So I'm working on it. It's just that, frankly, they're too busy to carve out the time to go ahead and do that. So in March, I'm hoping to bring some folks in. The outlier for our area is Louisa. So Louisa's AMI is $74,000. So the next county over, Fluvanna, is 94,000.
How about the next county over from Louisa?
Which way?
Richmond side.
Yeah, that I didn't do.
Okay.
But
Because that'll be lower than Louisa.
There's a link I can drop in the feed. You can pull any county in the state of Virginia, and it tells you what, or city.
Would you make Greg's stat about the townhomes?
The 350 was the number I had in my head.
Is the 350 the new starter home price point?
Well, new construction it is.
Yeah. That's so crazy.
Well, I'll tell you that my clients are working over in Spring Hill. Their numbers substantially north of that. It's got a 4 in it. So we're going to be able to sell units over there in the mid-2s, low to mid-2s over there. Same 1,700 square feet, garage, yada, yada, yada. Because of our relationship with Stanley Martin, that we're able to do that and get that done. So this is going to be an exciting project. Somewhere around April, hopefully, we'll be able to deliver that. It's not a huge number; it's 15 over the course of time, but that's just great. And hopefully, we can create this model. We're trying to use
And scale.
Well, in scale, but what we've been doing here, and we've been forecasting and looking forward to, is as you may know, I sit on the stakeholder committee for Albemarle County's new affordable housing policy. What we're doing with Stanley Martin and Spring Hill is what do you call it?
POP.
POP.
Proof of performance.
Proof of performance.
Yeah.
Because we want to take this and utilize this so when this new policy gets adopted, this is an option. This is a silver buckshot, one of the silver buckshots to help this. So if a project should go for rezoning in, let's say, Crozet, just for the heck of it, because that's where Greg was sitting at that point, we'll be able to offer solutions for that so there could be homes that are being sold through the land trust at this 80%, 60% AMI. And Greg's right. That's where we're really good. We're good in that sweet spot between that. When you start going below 60%, there's other agencies or other organizations or nonprofits that do that better because they rely on so much federal grant money, which we don't get. We're going to do something on Friday. So I'm going to give you a shout out. My brother-in-law is a producer for Viacom. And I asked him over the weekend, I said, look, we're doing this. Has this ever been done before? He says, well, and you know what his main role in producing and for Viacom is?
Create content.
Internet content.
Yeah.
He says, I've never seen it done. This is pretty exciting stuff.
This is exciting.
This is my exciting.
No, it is exciting. It is exciting. Friday's the telethon.
I'm just a little nervous. I have to be honest with you.
I think we're all nervous.
I'm a little nervous.
I think we're all nervous. He's nervous. I'm nervous. Susan's nervous.
I know. I know.
We're all nervous. It's never been done before.
Yeah.
I mean, here's another thing for the telethon. You ready for this? Talking out loud here, guys.
Are we going to commit ourselves to something else live?
Well, I mean, it's never been done. Facebook has Facebook has an either 8 or 12-hour time limitation of live streaming. So we're going to find out with 30 minutes left, and we're going to say we're going to have to stop and restart.
Oh my God!
So all we're going to have to do is like successful entrepreneurs do, is we're going to have to adapt on the fly.
I did not know that.
We have with confirmation it's 12. So if you started at 10, you can then go to 10 p.m. and then restart. Our biggest.
Hold up, time out. You just committed me past 10 p.m.
I mean, I think I'm trying to set expectations for my wife and your wife. I don't see it finishing at 10 p.m.
I agree with you.
I mean, the schedule that we're showing for this, Ray Cadell, John Durth, I mean, amazing musicians here.
Absolutely.
We have it. Susan is running a tight ship.
Yep. I have to, she's made it clear that I was only a staff sergeant, and she outranks me.
I respect that.
Yeah, so, I mean, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's never been done.
Well, now you just made me even more nervous.
I mean, it's a good feeling of nervous. It reminds me, you know what it reminds me of?
We wouldn't be sitting here talking about it if we weren't.
I remember in 2008 when I quit NBC 29. I was working for NBC 29, Monticello Media, and the newspaper. So I was doing TV, radio, and print, creating content. I'm like, I'm going to launch my own business. And I had this feeling of like uneasiness, but it was a good feeling. Kind of like in the pit of your stomach, motivates you.
I had chili last night. That's what that was.
Is that what I smell over here?
That's what it is. It's
Is
chili.
that what chili from where? Homemade chili?
Oh, yeah. We made chili for the football game.
Ashley Palmer, welcome to the broadcast. She's a hell of an agent watching.
Absolutely, guys. So look, I think this show today has been kind of, as I'm kind of sensing the chemistry between you and I and the vibe at this point. This is our little calm before the storm.
Oh, yeah.
Our ability. Okay, let's just, let's take a breath. But this is cool. I'm excited about it. Maybe this will be not good information for you, but I think we're going to pick up some national stuff on this. Just saying.
What are you, coverage?
Yeah, we might.
What does that mean? Spill the beans over there, Smith.
That means if
Spill the bean. You're gonna reach your brother-in-law and say, hey.
Maybe I already did.
And say, cover this.
Maybe I already did.
I would love if you did that. I mean,
so did the butterflies get better or worse?
It doesn't get worse.
There you go.
Yeah, it's the type of feeling we embrace. You embrace it as well.
So no tux.
Yeah, we're gonna be casual.
Okay, casual. I'm there.
Hopefully we have some.
How are we going to eat?
Hopefully a guy like Johnny, who's watching right now.
Yeah, bring in some chat.
El Mariachi.
So we're going to have a table over here set up with a live camera, with a camera and a mic. So when people come in,
stop by. They drop something off, or they want to
it.
do a payment in person. We get them on screen. Say, hey, what's this mean to you?
There you go. I like it.
And they can give us a little take on camera.
Got it. So this was 135. We are going to put our chemistry to test on Friday, and I'm excited.
This was show 135?
This was 135.
Anything else you want to add? You want to have the conversation we were having off air?
No.
Okay.
No, I think that's for somebody else's pay grade on that stuff. Stuff, but now you just get everybody going, huh? But
you feeling good?
I am feeling great. This is a big responsibility. We got to make, what if, oh man.
How's Yona feeling?
Yona said, so what happened to $500,000?
What?
Yeah, I'm only kidding.
No.
Yeah, she's feeling, look. And I say this all the time. She's my better 7/8. But 35 years. That woman's never said no to me. Never said no to me. All my crazy ideas, all my things, she's never said no. She's never said, don't do this. I swear to God. Now, it might have taken a little bit longer to, we might...
To get to the yes?
To get to the yes.
For certain ones?
To get to the yes, pardon the pun, to get to the yes.
I was going to say.
But at the end of the day, she's always let me kind of do it, what I want to do. But we also have us better than anybody. We have this really healthy back and forth relationship. And I amended stuff because she's right, most of the time, by the way. And, we never, I don't think we ever restrict people, either one of us, from doing what we want to do.
It's great.
Never do, because we trust one another.
His better 7/8 is Jonas Smith.
She watching?
Oh, she's watching. She's watching. He's Keith Smith. Judah Wickower will give some props for keeping us in line today, and on the right track.
We're going to get out on time today.
Yeah.
Because we need to save this time and this energy for that. So what are you going to? So 9 o'clock.
Get here at 9 on Friday.
No. What's your morning going to be? How are you going to start your morning off?
Depends on when my kid wakes up.
got it. What time does he normally wake up?
It's like kind of like a rooster. Between 7 and 7:20.
Rooster. The day's half over at 7.
No. So if I'm able to wake up beforehand and get some work done, I will do that. If he wakes up early, we'll do that. We'll do some breakfast with the fam, a bagel, some coffee. My wife does hot. I go iced. Shower, get ready.
You do iced coffee?
Every day.
Really?
Iced coffee every day.
Why is that?
I just like iced coffee. 36 ounces, I think this holds, maybe 40 ounces. I drink a few of these a day. And then I very much enjoy watching CNBC while in the shower. So
oh God!
Watch
the timeout.
Watch the financial news while getting ready in the shower and getting dressed.
First of all,
shaven.
I did not need that mental picture.
And then I head over to work. And then I think on the way over here about
stuff.
Normally I get an email from him that has like 18, 20 pages to it.
Before your son wakes up.
Judah said the other day, Keith Smith sure likes to kill trees with all the paper he prints. And then I made the comment,
That's
I
great.
think they're keeping
That's
Staples in business with all these clips and paper clips we get.
So that's great. People are mad at me, period, for some things.
No.
Now I'm killing trees.
Well, you
Great.
know, like under 40 doesn't use paper.
Okay. Do you know how old I am?
Well, I know you are, but
Okay.
you're a millennial at heart, and you love the DocuSign. You love the digital stuff.
I do. It's just I need to have
Something tangible in your hand.
Yeah, it's just and I probably do too much of this and too much of that.
Because you know it's picked up by the mic.
Oh. That and the bagels.
When you're eating a sandwich on the
Really?
show.
So we didn't finish this. How are we going to eat?
We're going to figure it out. Maybe while enjoying some of the live music, we'll eat some food.
So, maybe like in 8 or 9 hours, well, if you see of us go, dope.
NBC 29, the folks over there are going to come and cover it.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
They're going to come and cover it. CBS 19 will cover it as well.
So how does that work? They're going to set up a camera in
I
there?
have a feeling they're going to, from what has happened in the past, they bring the cameraman, they start shooting the window, and then they knock on the door during the show, and Judah looks over, is like, what's going on? And I'm like, if that's the cameraman, let him in. And then they post up his camera over there.
So Kelsey's going to have to manage the door, too.
Yeah, Kelsey will manage it. She's essentially like a bouncer on Friday.
Oh.
With the time
Oh, yeah.
and managing the door.
Well, guys, I'm staring
What's
up.
Kelsey's last name? We got to come up with a title
Schlein.
for her for the show. What is it?
Schlein.
Okay.
Keeper of Keith and Jerry.
That's brutal position, Kelsey.
Oh, let me tell you something. I know Kelsey since this.
I know, you said
She's
that.
very capable of handling that. Matter of fact, she's probably going to end up with a ruler and start. No, I'm only kidding.
Keith, Judah, Jerry, Real Talk, presented by the Yes Team
please
Realtors.
Donate. Please join us.
Friday, we're going to need your help. It's going to start at 10 a.m. We're going to try to raise money for affordable housing in the Thomas Jefferson Community Land Trust through a 12-hour telethon. It's this Friday. Please, we need 3,000 people to donate $50 each, and that's $150K the Land Trust can use to buy a piece of land on 10th Street Northwest. Please help.
Have you ever seen the Jerry Lewis telethons, like the classic?
I've seen the replays.
Yeah. Well, you were a little too young to actually watch them live, but yeah.
Remember, was it Bozo the Clown?
Oh my God.
And they used to have a show in the morning,
Oh,
and
yeah.
people would have to.
You remember Bozo the Clown?
People would have to throw the ball in buckets, and the buckets were further apart, and you got prizes. I wanted to do, and it's tougher because of COVID, but if there was no COVID,
I'm impressed that you remember Bozo.
I would have wanted the telethon to have like a dunk tank and like some kind of ball competition or throwing or shooting competition. And if we can have these bets, then the person has to get in the dunk tank.
No, because my ass would end up in
We
this.
both would be in different times.
No.
It's this Friday. We're going to need your help, guys.
Yeah.
He is committed to this.
A lot of Greg is.
We
our
are.
team members.
Yeah, it's going to make the community better.
Yeah.
Join us, please, on Friday. For Judah, for Keith, my name is Jerry. This is Real Talk, presented by the Yes Team Realtors. We'll see you in about 70 minutes for the I Love CVille show, guys. Take care.
Good show today.
Oh, it's going to be hot.
The noon show, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be
I need to stay away from that topic, as you know. So
I think that's a good idea.
that's a very good idea.
You guys have a good morning. We'll see you soon. Take care. Greg's great.